The Islamic Republic's Imam facing deportation in Sweden, and there are some rumors that he was already deported. Excuse me. In a dramatic crackdown on foreign espionage, Sweden has arrested and is set to deport Iranian cleric Mohsen Hakimullah, the head of Stockholm's Imam Ali Islamic Center, over allegations that the mosque was being used as a front for Iranian intelligence operations. Quote, this is extremely serious, warned Sweden's Minister of Social Affairs, Jakob Frost, Forssmed. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce these names. As the government cut all state funding to the mosque, citing threats to national security. Hakimollahi. That's a name right there. Hakimollahi, who has lived in Sweden for over a decade and built ties with local politicians, was taken from his home by plainclothes officers and has been held in Swedish detention since. His supporters insist that he is being unfairly targeted, arguing, quote, Hakimollahi has is neither suspected of any crimes nor the subject of any criminal investigation. However, Swedish authorities, citing national security laws, maintain the right to deport non citizens based on intelligence assessments alone. As tensions between Sweden and the Iranian regime escalate, this case highlights the growing scrutiny of foreign backed religious institutions operating in Europe. I, here's the thing. Good. Do it. Do it. I'm not gonna cry. I got absolutely no issues with this. Absolutely no
I
issues with this.
I just want to take advantage of this opportunity and say we told you so, because we were accused of being conspiracy theorists by saying that the Shia mosques in Europe are actually arms of the Islamic Republic. Okay, so people are like, no, these are just mosques. Can we just have mosque for Shias? They're like, yeah, yeah, but the, this is how they're being used right now. We're told you, like in Germany, just like the many Sunni mosques are
In the
arms of the
UK,
Turkish
the
government.
UK has notorious examples.
Yes, the Shia, many of these Shia mosques are actually the soft power. They have a mission, and this is not an exaggeration, directly from the supreme leader as a way to infiltrate within your governments. They have their with the auto, and this is not I an exaggeration. I promise you, with the ultimate goal of toppling your regimes,
Yeah,
with the
obviously.
goal with the goal of exporting the Islamic Revolution of 1979. I told you phase 1 was Iran, phase 2 was the Middle East, phase 3 is the rest of the liberal world. To take down the world, the imperial, they call it the imperial order, which we call the liberal order, they call it the imperial order. But the goal is to influence, to use the Shias, to find the Shia base in these countries, create a community, try to get the Shias who are not Velayat Faqih Shia to become Velayat Faqih Shia, try to get the Sunnis Shia or Shia sympathetic using the Palestinian cause, try to get non-Muslims sympathetic towards Hussein and the Palestinian cause, and use this as a leverage over the voting base of these populations. That was the goal. And after October 7th, we saw that, because when I said that, these people felt like, okay, Army, first of all, this sounds like a conspiracy theory. Second of all, even if that's the goal, they said that's outrageous. They're not going to be able to do that. They're not going to be able to have such an influence. After October 7th, and the number of people that came out supporting terrorism, the people who are using the Palestinian cause to try to, and wokeism, to try to influence the government, the new party that we have, for example, in the UK, completely focused and dedicated on the so-called Palestinian cause. Does and the influence that these people, this demographic, has over your laws and changing the direction of the politics of your country, does those suggestions that I made before, does that seem outrageous before? I mean, we have the Swedish government now agreeing that that's what these Islamic centers are being used for. I don't know. Yeah, the Pali excuse, as people say.
No, I mean,
Again, this is not just unfair. This is unfair. Again, I say this, and I feel for the Palestinian people as well, because their misery and their blood is being used. This is why the Palestinian cause is the curse upon the Palestinian people, because the Palestinian cause requires the Palestinians to suffer. It needs the Palestinians to suffer for it to be able to continue being a cause. So this is not just a curse upon Israel and the rest of the liberal world. This is even a more curse. This whole thing is actually a bigger curse upon the Palestinian people themselves. But go on.
oh, it's very, I don't know the right word for it, like very cynical. Um, basically, people need to understand that one, apparently, this mosque. Wait, what was the name? The Imam Ali Islamic Center is considered the largest Shiite institution in Northern Europe. The largest Shiite institution in Northern
Wow.
Europe.
Wait,
This is a
wait. Mm,
major source
wow.
of soft power for the Iranian regime. I need people to understand that. And the Iranian regime knows this. And that's why they utilize these religious institutions. And we know that these institutions exist within the United States as well. They exist within Germany, multiple places in Germany. They exist in the UK. They they exist in Argentina. They exist in Nigeria. They exist all around South America in general. In Lebanon, they're they're they know what they're doing. And the problem is that a lot of these mullahs who are overseas are given authority by the local community and by local politicians as, oh, well, we want everyone in our community to be represented. And like, this is the guy over here that represents our local Muslims. And so, oh my God, we want him to be included at this event. And oh, there's an issue that concerns Muslims over here. So we're going to like bring him in and have him act as a stakeholder and have him act as a representative and try to get him in on these interfaith issues over here. And so they build up the validity and authority of these figures over time. So this guy was apparently well connected politically, and the Shias are particularly well positioned to do this. I've said it before and I'll say it again, because they speak out of both sides of their mouth when they talk about condemning terrorism. Because depending on the situation, they can be very gifted at condemning terrorism and talking about the evil of terrorism in Islam, and it's not the real Islam, and that was taken away from us in the foundations and blah 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 blah. Basically, what they're doing is they're actually talking about Sunni Islam, and no, but we're different. But we're different. And oh no, these are the real ISIS. This the they were the original ISIS. They were the original terrorists, blah, 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 blah. We're different. Meanwhile, I would be hard pressed to see them condemn Hezbollah, for example. It's like, oh, you're so opposed to terrorism? Like, okay, sir, like, please tell me your stance on Hezbollah. I would be really thrilled to understand. Um, so there's a double game that they play here that just plays very well in the Western mindset, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I, I think it would be helpful for our audience to be able to categorize these things and put them into, because people, a lot of people are like, oh, Muslim influence from foreign countries, bad, okay, and it's all bad. But I think it's good for you to have some brand recognition, right? And when it comes to Islamic influence in your country, sponsored, first of all, let's categorize it in two, okay? Organic or sponsored by a state, right? So organic is basically, these are the types of Islamic influence that is just spreading, or because of you having a bigger Muslim population, and there's a lot of Muslim content creators that they're just making good money by making their YouTube channels. So these are Muslim YouTubers, Muslim podcasters, Muslim TikTokers. These are not state sponsored. This is just a virus like spreading without any state sponsorship. Okay. When it comes to state sponsorship, it becomes more worrisome because it's a lot more organized, it's a lot more financed, and it's a lot more deliberately targeting the politics of your country, right? And when it comes to state sponsorship, you could put it in three categories. The least worrisome right now. So number one is Wahhabism, uh, sponsored by Saudis. This one is much less worrisome than before, compared to
Yeah.
before. Okay, because the Saudis have changed direction, right? But the fact that they sponsored Wahhabism all around the world, that mess is still with us, all right? Even though they're not sponsoring it anymore, but they created something that is still a curse upon the world, but it's a
And
curse upon
themselves.
them as well right now.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but about the Saudis themselves supporting it, they used to support it before. They're not supporting it anymore. And the reason is because they're and all of this comes down to economy, right? So number one is, so let me first give you the three categories, and then I will tell you which one is the most worrisome and why. So Wahhabism sponsored by Saudis, Muslim Brotherhood being sponsored by Turkey and Qatar, and then the third one is Vilayat al-Faqih version of 12 verse Shia Islam, sponsored by the Iranian regime. And I would argue that this third one is the most worrisome. And the degrees of worrisome has to do with the level of economic isolation of each one of these countries, right? The reason why the Saudis now are the least worrisome is because fossil fuels um, are going to be replaced at some point, and the Saudis are desperate to be economically integrated with the rest of the liberal world, and they cannot do that with the Wahhabi brand, and that's why Saudis are the least worrisome. The most worrisome is the Iranian regime, because the economies of their country is in a bizarre situation where the people in power make the most money by being the most isolated, right?
Mm.
So they are not looking for integration. They actually benefit from hostility with the liberal world order, and that's why them using these leverages around the world to attack the liberal world order actually completely is in line with what fills their pockets. The Qatar and Turkey is between these two. Okay, Qatar and Turkey, especially Qatar, sponsors really Muslim Brotherhood ideology, but also woke ideology. They sponsor that. They try to use it as a leverage in liberal countries. They're not trying to take down, because their economy is connected to the world liberal order, is not as isolated as the Iranian regime. So they want to have these leverages to pull without going full anti Western countries. They just want to have something that they could use as a leverage without going full on head to head with these countries. And the Muslim Brotherhood angle has become more problematic to use as a leverage ever since October 7th. So, and also because Trump coming into power. So Qatar, it seems like, is signaling that it's trying to maybe change direction a bit. We'll see. But they're sending their signals to Trump that they're going to play, they're going to be better. Okay, we don't know. Okay,
Mhm.
we'll see, right? So Qatar might be going the Saudi Arabia way. Turkey might not, Turkey might actually Turkey, even though they have a economic relationship even with Israel, the situation over Syria might suggest that Turkey is going to become more aggressive at some point with Israel. We don't know. We'll see. But the worst player in all of these sponsor is the Islamic Republic, because they have full interest in basically being the most annoying and the most aggressive against the world liberal order. So that's how. I don't know if you guys appreciate the category. Like, was that helpful for people to understand what's going on here?
I like it. I like it a lot.
Hmm.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest though, I don't trust Qatar at all. Qatar
No,
has
Qatar is
full
horrible.
blown full blown captured entire American universities. Like,
Yes, yes, yes.
there's so much
Yeah,
activity in the United States that it revolves around Qatar that should be categorized as a violation of the Foreign Agents Registration Act. Like, it's insane.
yeah. Just to be clear, I don't mean to dismiss how bad Qatar has been. Okay,
Sure, sure, sure.
but like, I didn't mean to do that. I'm just saying that
I don't
it's
think you are.
Qatar. Yeah, but the thing is, Qatar, as bad as Qatar has been, they are they are driven by things of this world, right? So they are being pragmatic for the sake of wealth and power. Okay, when it comes to the Islamic Republic, it's such a much of an odd and crazy situation. It's a lot more ideological. So the
Yeah.
Qatari people themselves, they might not be ideological. They are using ideological people, but they are completely being pragmatic about it. When it comes to the Islamic Republic, we have a level of crazy going on here. That's why Trump correctly recognized that they have less leverage over the Islamic Republic because of the level of religiosity when it comes to the
Yeah.
Islamic Republic, right? So it's a whole other monster. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It I could see one day, for example, Qatar normalizing relationships with the liberal order, even as bad as they have been. I could imagine them at some point even having normal relationships with Israel, just like the other
Mhm.
Persian Gulf Arab countries, right? But I don't see that with the Islamic Republic. I mean, if
Yeah,
the
no, because 'cause
Islamic
they're true
Republic
believers.
changes, yes, yes, exactly. I mean, or at least they're very pressured by true believers to
Yeah,
the point that they
exactly.
cannot. Yes, yes. Anyways, let's look at the comments here. Um, okay, well, I don't understand this comment. Oh yeah, single. That's good. I like it.
Bon
So, how do
voyage.
you say? Yeah, how do you say that? Yeah. Okay, goodbye.
Have a good trip.
And this one.
So this is an Islamic Republic supporting person saying just an excuse by the Zionist occupied Swedish government to shut down the mosque. Shameful. So we have a good old
Wow.
fashioned, nothing like a good old fashioned Zog conspiracy theory.
Of course, of course. This person is saying,
Shut
shut
it
it down,
down.
celebrating that.
Got no problem. Strip all their
Guys,
money. I don't care.
we got to
Do it again. More.
I just want to appreciate all the people who are supporting us, because for the level, for our size of a channel, the super chats that we're getting is like, we're getting as many super chats as a channel with like 200 thousand subscribers. So thank you guys for supporting us. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
you keep the channel afloat, seriously.
Thank you guys. Thank you. So we got four more super chats to read.
Okay. Um Asian American, what the hell?
What are you reading? Hold on.
I so you I think this was
Susie's
relating to you talking about hell.
oh,
Okay. There are more messed up
Susie's
versions
face
of
was priceless.
BDSM I
Somebody should cut
cannot
that part.
describe on YouTube. My hypothesis is people who did not know how to exercise this kink invented hell.
There are more messed up versions of BDSM I cannot describe on YouTube. I don't agree with your hypothesis. I think this was this was more of a power. Uh, this was more of a control mechanism than somebody trying to satisfy their kink.
Yeah.
desires.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any I don't think there's any evidence for that. I know I gauge an American. I think that's something you like to believe, but I don't think it's true. I mean, was kink a big deal back then, or is that more of a modern thing? Like, I don't
I think it's a
see
more
what
modern
people
thing
modern thing. Yeah, I think I don't see. I mean, I don't see in ancient literature people being that kinky, right?
until we
So I
invented
don't.
the
I think.
French. Sorry.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, the word sadism literally comes from the Marquis de Sade, or however you pronounce it, who is the most fucked up French gentleman the world has ever seen, to the point that we named a paraphilia after him. And all people that like to inflict pain are now referred to in his terms. That's, I mean, legendary levels. And I mean, he wrote this book that's one of the most depraved things I've ever heard of. Look it up if you don't know what I'm talking about, or don't actually. It's kind of messed up. It's extremely messed up. It's extremely messed up. Like, this man was probably almost a serial killer. Um, Okay. Poor Claire gave a super chat saying, "Thank you for your answers." And I had wondered if Susanna was ex Catholic. I can always sense Catholics. I have a fifth sense, as Karen Smith would say. What is it?
Yeah.
My guilt? No.
The shame. Yeah, Catholics, ex-Catholics detect each other quite well. I've noticed that. Like, what is it about
It's
ex-Catholics?
the guilt complex, the shame
The
complex.
ki-
Why do Catholics have shame so much worse than other religions? I've noticed.
Mm.
I don't know. Um, John gave a super chat saying the Vilayat al Faqih cannot is ruining so much of Iraq now.
Right,
Dude,
right.
it's
I mean,
nuts.
Iraq might be unchaining itself from the bonds, from the claws of the Islamic Republic. So, things seeming to be ever since the fall of Assad. Um, we're saying, guys, basically, it seems like Israel has managed to liberate. Israel might be able to claim responsibility from liberating Gaza from Hamas, Syria from Assad, and maybe if things go, Lebanon from Hezbollah, and if things go in the same way that it's going, because the fall of Assad has now it has had a domino effect all the way to Iraq. We're seeing the proxy groups of the Islamic Republic falling slowly but surely in Iraq as well. So Israel, one country, one tiny little country of Israel, might have liberated four countries from their oppressors in defending itself without even trying. In the act of defending itself, four countries might have been liberated from their oppressors. I know it's
Dude,
crazy.
clear. I mean,
Make it a fifth, Iran.
a
Yeah.
historic level L, really.
Yeah.
Semper Fidelis gave a super chat saying, "Woman life freedom, free all Israeli hostages is now." I'm here for it.
Yes.
Let my
Right.
people go.
Yes. Yeah.
Let my
That's
people
actually a
go.
very good. Yeah. Accidentally liberating. Yes. Yeah. Hopefully, it will eventually reach to Iran as well. We could have five countries. Five countries accidentally liberated by Israel just by just by Israel trying to defend itself. That's fantastic.
The most iconic FAFO in human history. Actually,
Right.
probably not in human history, but at least in the 21st century.
Yeah, maybe actually in human history. I don't know. We'll
We
see.
shall see. We shall see.
Yeah.
Well, that's the end of our show today. Thank you everyone for being here. And we already
Yes.
have some very juicy stories. Very juicy
Oh,
stories for
lined up
next
for
week lined
next
up.
week.
Oh
Can
yeah,
you
I
give
already
us
got
a
them locked
tease?
in.
Can you give us a teaser?
Well, we got more Quran burnings in the UK that ended up with a dude getting stabbed. And I heard on
Oh
Twitter
shit!
that the guy who stabbed him is released, but he's not released. Although, to be fair, I don't believe like anything I see on Twitter off top. But
We'll
in
have
the
to see. So
UK, I'm inclined
the
to believe it, honestly.
yeah, the claim has been, and Susanna is going to check it, that the man who stabbed the Quran burner is free, and the person who burned the Quran is not free. So that's we're gonna see. We
And
don't
we're
know if
at a
that's true.
place where this can happen in the UK, and I'm not like, "Oh, no, that's obviously bullshit." I have to be like, "Actually, I mean, it might."
Yes.
I don't know,
Mm.
it sounds like it might be
But
kind of.
okay, I don't trust Twitter, but you know what I trust? I trust Susie. Okay, so and D. Okay, and the rest of our team. So they're gonna go dig this. And again, guys, please mention all. I just sat here with you guys for 3 hours, but Susie and D were doing a lot more work than these 3 hours for making this news stream possible. Okay, so please acknowledge that. Let Susie know in the comment section that you appreciate her and Dee and the rest of our team doing this. And also, if you have suggestions, along thanking them, suggestions in the comments after the show about what you think would be a good idea for them to cover in other weeks, let them know as well. As long as you don't get upset if your choice doesn't get picked, okay? Don't get upset, okay? But do make the suggestions, please.
Yeah.
And yeah, leave a comment, like, subscribe. Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.